Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show that proves one thing and one thing only. Money might buy you fame, but it sure doesn't buy you normalcy. Today, we're taking you on a wild ride through the world of celebrity offspring. Yes, those strange little creatures who somehow manage to be even weirder than their over-the-top parents. We're counting down the top 24 celebrity kids who make us all say, "Thank goodness my biggest issue was a bad haircut in middle school." Get ready to cringe, laugh, and maybe even feel a little better about your own childhood. Starting us off at number 24, we have Apple Martin, daughter of Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin. Now, it's easy to point fingers at her name. I mean, she's named after a fruit, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. With a mom whose idea of parenting advice involves detoxifying with weird crystals and whose lifestyle brand sells items like psychic vampire repellent, poor Apple never stood a chance at normal. You can bet her lunchbox was full of organic quinoa and kale chips, while the rest of the kids were trading PB&Js. At number 23, it's Blue Ivy Carter, daughter of the one and only Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Now, Blue Ivy might seem like she's got it all: famous parents, a wardrobe worth more than your house, and a life of luxury. But let's talk about the pressure. This kid performed on stage at the Super Bowl before most of us figured out how to tie our shoes. And the weirdest part? She's already won more awards than we ever will. At this rate, Blue Ivy's life trajectory is more intimidating than inspiring. If she isn't the president by the time she's 18, we'll all be disappointed. Number 22, welcome North West to the stage. When your parents are Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, normal isn't even in your vocabulary. Named after a direction on the compass, North has been a fashion icon since birth. But it's not just about the clothes. This kid has been pouting at paparazzi since she was in diapers. And let's not forget, her dad once bought her a $65,000 diamond tiara because, you know, every toddler needs one. North probably thinks all kids have a glam squad waiting for them every morning. Moving on to number 21, Moses Martin. Yes, another entry from the Paltrow-Martin clan. If naming your first kid after a fruit wasn't quirky enough, naming the second one after a major biblical figure sure is. But here's the kicker. Moses has been growing up under the watchful eye of his goop-loving mom, who probably makes him do yoga before school and meditate on his intentions for the day. How much do you want to bet he's the only 10-year-old who knows what vibrational energy means? Number 20 is Pilot Inspector Lee, son of Jason Lee and Beth Riesgraff. Sure, we could laugh at the name, but let's talk about how this kid was practically born with a checklist in hand. Seriously, with a name like that, Pilot Inspector is destined for a life of endless questions like, so do you actually inspect planes? But the real oddity here, his parents actually claimed they were inspired by a song when they named him. We get it, music is powerful, but maybe let's not name our kids after potential job titles. Coming in at number 19, it's Kal-El Cage, son of Nicolas Cage. Yep, named after Superman's birth name, because being named something like John just wouldn't cut it when your dad is the king of eccentricity himself. But the name isn't what makes Kal-El weird. It's that he's been growing up in a house filled with actual dinosaur skulls, haunted mansions, and his dad's massive comic book collection. What's dinner like in that house? Pass the salt, Dad, and please don't forget to exorcise the ghosts in my room before bed. At number 18, we have Bear Blaze Winsley, son of Kate Winsley and Ned Rockroll. Yes, Rockroll is his actual surname. Bear Blaze sounds like a combination of a woodland creature and a forest fire. And let's just say that's not the most calming image. This kid is probably being raised with survival skills straight out of a wilderness manual. Bear Blaze, remember, always carry your flint and steel. You never know when you'll need to start a fire on your way to kindergarten. Number 17, it's Jer Majesty Jackson, son of Jermaine Jackson. Because why settle for just being a majesty when you can be a Jer Majesty? And don't think for a second this kid isn't reminded of his royal-sounding name every day. With a dad who's part of the Jackson family, Jer Majesty's probably been moonwalking since he could crawl, with Michael's Thriller playing in the background. It's one thing to have high expectations. It's another when your dad's trying to make you the next king of pop, whether you like it or not. At number 16, we have Audio Science Clayton, child of Shannon Sossaman. The name alone screams, destined for a life of confusion. But let's get into why audio science might be more than just a strange name. With a name like that, this poor kid is probably being raised in a household where silence isn't golden. It's just plain boring. We can only imagine the experiments he's subjected to daily. Let's test how different frequencies affect your mood audio. Poor kid is probably fluent in techno-babble before he's even mastered the alphabet. Number 15, meet Moxie crime fighter Gillette, daughter of Penn Jillette. Because when your dad is half of the famous magic duo Penn and Teller, you're not getting a name like Sarah or Emily. Moxie crime fighter sounds like she should be leading a team of superheroes, not trying to get through elementary school. Imagine the pressure of living up to that name. So, Moxie, solved any crimes lately? And let's not even get started on how many magic tricks she's probably had to learn by now. Moxie, can you pull a rabbit out of your backpack? Sure, no problem. Number 14 is Rain Disick, son of Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. When your dad's nickname is Lord Disick and your mom's part of the Kardashian empire, you're pretty much royalty in your own right. Rain is destined to rule over a kingdom of reality TV fans and Instagram followers. But the weirdness here isn't just the name. This kid has been in front of cameras since he was in the womb. By the time he's 18, Rain will probably have a reality show of his own, where he's giving life advice to other spoiled rich kids. How to perfect the art of pouting. Lesson 1. Number 13. It's Cricket Pearl Silverstein, daughter of Busy Phillips. Yes, Cricket. Because when you're an actress with a penchant for the eccentric, naming your kid after an insect seems like a logical choice. But beyond the name, Cricket's weirdness comes from being raised in a household where everything is just a little bit quirky. Imagine bedtime stories that involve metaphors about the life cycle of insects and art projects inspired by nature documentaries. Cricket, did you know that crickets communicate through their legs? Let's try it. Number 12, let's talk about Peaches Geldof, daughter of Bob Geldof. Peaches may no longer be with us, but her life was a whirlwind of strange fashion choices, odd interviews, and public meltdowns. With a dad like Bob, who's known for his anti-establishment ways, and an activist mother, Peaches was raised in a world where normal just wasn't an option. From a young age, she was more likely to be found at a protest than a playground. And let's not forget her brief stint in Scientology and her fascination with the occult. Peaches lived life as bizarrely as her name suggests. At number 11, we've got Sage Moonblood Stallone, son of Sylvester Stallone. Moonblood isn't exactly the name you'd expect from the son of an action hero, but here we are. Sage was raised in a world where his dad was always fighting bad guys, whether on screen or off. Imagine growing up in a house where every family dinner feels like a scene from Rocky, and with a name like Moonblood, you're destined to either become a martial arts expert or a shaman. Either way, normal is not in the cards. Crashing into number 10, it's Rocket Zot Worthington, son of Sam Worthington and Laura Bingle. Rocket Zot sounds like a character straight out of a comic book, and with a name like that, he's destined for adventures, real or imaginary. But the weirdness doesn't stop there. Rocket is being raised by two parents who are as unpredictable as the Australian weather. One minute they're backpacking across the outback, the next they're at some glamorous Hollywood event. This kid is probably confused about whether he's supposed to be a rugged explorer or a red carpet star. Maybe both. Number 9, it's Denham Cole Braxton Lewis, son of Tony Braxton. Denim, because nothing says fashion forward like naming your kid after fabric. But it's not just the name that makes Denim stand out. Growing up with a mom like Tony Braxton, who's known for her sultry voice and dramatic life, Denim's probably spent more time in recording studios than playgrounds. And let's be real, being named after jeans is one thing, but living up to the stylish expectations of the Braxton family? That's a whole different level of weird. At number 8, we have Kid Miller Duchovny, son of David Duchovny and Téa Leoni. It's almost like his parents couldn't be bothered to come up with a name, so they just went with Kid. But the real strangeness here lies in his upbringing. Imagine having Fox Mulder from The X-Files as your dad. Conspiracy theories at the dinner table, anyone? And with a mom like Téa Leoni, known for her roles in quirky comedies, Kid's probably grown up in a household where normal means discussing alien abductions over breakfast. Number 7, it's Bronx Mowgli Wentz, son of Pete Wentz and Ashley Simpson. Named after a borough in New York and a character from The Jungle Book, Bronx Mowgli is clearly set up for a life that's anything but ordinary. And when your dad's a rock star and your mom's a pop princess, weird is just your baseline. Bronx has been attending concerts since he could walk, probably owns more eyeliner than your average teenager, and might think that hanging out backstage at music festivals is just what all kids do. Sliding in at number 6, Zuma Rock Rossdale, son of Gwen Stefani and Gavin Rossdale. Zuma Rock, it's like his parents couldn't decide whether they wanted him to be a surfer, a reggae artist, or a rock star, so they just went with all three. Zuma's weirdness isn't just in his name, it's in his life. With parents who are fashion icons and rock legends, this kid is probably confused about whether he should be shredding waves or shredding guitar solos. Either way, normal childhood activities like soccer practice seem pretty mundane in comparison. Number 5 is Tu Morrow, daughter of Rob Morrow. Yes, you heard that right. When your name is a pun, your life is pretty much destined to be a running joke. But Tu's weirdness doesn't stop at her name. Growing up with a dad who thought naming his child Tu Morrow was a good idea, she's probably been raised on a diet of bad dad jokes and an overdeveloped sense of irony. Imagine introducing yourself in school. Hi, I'm Tu Morrow. It's the kind of name that guarantees you either become a comedian or spend a lot of time explaining yourself. At number 4, we've got Fifi Trixibel Geldof, another offspring of Bob Geldof. Peaches wasn't enough, so Bob decided to up the ante with Fifi Trixibel. It sounds like a name meant for a cartoon poodle, but nope, this is a real person. And growing up with a dad like Bob, who's famous for his anti-establishment views, Fifi was probably encouraged to rebel against just about everything, including common sense. Imagine being named Fifi and trying to take yourself seriously. It's almost like Bob was daring her to be weird from the get-go. Number 3, it's Elsie Otter Pechenik, daughter of Zooey Deschanel and Jacob Pechenik, named after a furry aquatic animal, because why not? But it's not just the name. Elsie Otter is probably growing up in a household where every day is a quirky indie movie. With Zooey Deschanel as a mom, you can bet there's a ukulele somewhere in that house. And Elsie's probably been taught to appreciate vintage vinyl records before she could walk. Her lullabies? Probably sung in perfect harmony by a mom who makes everything just a little bit too whimsical. Coming in at number 2, we have Buddy Bear Morris Oliver, son of celebrity chef Jamie Oliver. Buddy Bear sounds like the name of a cuddly toy you'd find in a children's store. But nope, it's a real kid. And when your dad is all about organic food and healthy eating, you're probably the only child in your class who's never tasted a candy bar. Buddy Bear is likely being raised on a diet of quinoa porridge and kale chips, with a side of "you can't have that, it's not organic." Poor kid probably thinks kale is an actual food group. And finally at number 1, drumroll, please, X Æ A-12 Musk, the child of Elon Musk and Grimes. This name is like a Wi-Fi password on steroids, but it's not just the name that makes X Æ A-12 weird. Oh no. Growing up in the Musk household, this kid is probably learning to code before they can even speak. With a dad who's planning to colonize Mars and a mom who makes music that sounds like it was composed by aliens, X Æ A-12 is destined for a life that's anything but ordinary. This kid's first words might be something like, "Elon, initiate the launch sequence." And there you have it, folks. The 24 celebrity kids who make you grateful your parents didn't try to name you after a fruit, a fabric, or a Wi-Fi password. Remember, fame might bring you money and power, but it doesn't guarantee you'll be normal, or that your kids will be. Until next time, keep it weird, keep it wild, and thank your lucky stars you don't have to explain why your name is Pilot Inspector at every job interview.